Hi, I'm Nolan, and I am a sophomore here at ICU.
Okay. And where you come from?
I'm from Seattle, Washington.
So tell me your experience of realizing that you're gay and how you came to terms with it.
So I first realized that I was gay when I was about 12 years old, or about 11, in 6th grade, and at that time I thought that I could kind of hide it, try and play straight for the rest of my life, and for a while there I thought that I could make myself attracted to girls, but as time passed I sort of realized that this is something that I'm born with, or rather, something that I can't change intentionally by myself, and that I really shouldn't because, you should be proud of who you are and, like, what you're born with. And as I turned 17, and then around my senior year of high school, I came out to my family and to my friends, which was really hard for me because I was afraid of losing everybody and sort of being all alone, and I never wanted to, just have to deal with coming out, but I knew that I had to in order to, like, be truly open and positive about my life and who I am. And in the end, everybody was okay with it. And granted, there are people who won't accept you for being gay, and people who won't accept you for being gay, or bisexual, transgender, whatever it be. There will be people, even just one or two people, who will accept you and be there to talk to you if you're in trouble, and I definitely had those friends there for me, which made going through the whole coming out process a lot better. And through the whole process, it wasn't about... The thing that was positive wasn't that everybody accepted me, it was that I started to value myself more, and I started to really value more things like courage, like having the courage to come out. It didn't matter whether or not everybody was okay with it. What mattered is that I took the courage to say, you know what, this is going to be really hard, this is going to be really scary, but in the end, I won't have to hide myself anymore, and I can just be who I am. I would say that I am mostly out to most of my friends and acquaintances here at ICU. Granted, there are still some people who I haven't told specifically because they're not that close to me, or people who I'm kind of unsure whether or not they know. But in the grand scheme of things, I feel like most people know about me being gay. And that's one thing that I like about ICU is that, well, I mean, coming from, the perspective of a foreigner, a lot of Japanese find it easier to accept foreigners who are gay or bisexual or transgendered. And the bad thing is that there are a lot of students here who don't feel like they're able to be accepted as much by our campus because, like... On the other hand, though, there are Japanese students here who feel less accepted by the community here at ICU, and I feel that that's partly due to the fact that in Japanese culture, in terms of LGBT issues, a lot of people say, you can be okay with, doing LGBT stuff, you can be gay, bi, transgender, whatever, just, like, don't talk about it. It's all hush-hush. This is the way society is supposed to be, and how the standard is, and if you're a little bit outside of that, then, just make sure that it doesn't come into the perspective of our sort of circle of, standard of social... I recently saw this one talk by a shame researcher called Brene Brown, talking about how shame sort of plays into the roles of everybody's lives here, not just in Japan, but, well, actually, more sort of in the Western context, but I feel like this kind of applies to everybody, around the world, that shame really plays a part in how we deal with people, how we view ourselves. And she said sort of the opposite to that is vulnerability. And what vulnerability is essentially, having emotional and basically having emotional exposure and risk, but at the same time when you go through with that, you get out love, joy, empathy, emotional connection. And a lot of people think that by hiding themselves, by sort of steering away from vulnerability, for example, steering away from coming out, that, they can stay safe and they'll feel good. But at the same time, you're not getting good emotions with that. It's sort of like you're numbing yourself. And I feel like for, LGBT people everywhere, it's like you could hide the fact that you're gay, and it may be hard to deal with the fact that people won't accept you. But if you come out, you will definitely have the ability to meet people who will accept you for no matter what. And because of that, because of those, positive experiences you'll have, all the other stuff won't matter.
Okay.
As for my future plans, I am not sure exactly what I want to do, but I do know that in the near future I want to study abroad and go to Rutgers University in New Jersey of the States, because, well, first off, I was really interested in working with LGBT organizations when I first came to Japan, but I felt like the wide and the scope of those organizations was very small, and I feel like I never really knew how to, apply my skills, apply my knowledge within that organization so it could have an effect on Japanese society. Because in the beginning, when I came here, I didn't know that much about Japanese people or Japanese culture. And now, having known all of that, yes, I could start right off in a Japanese LGBT organization, helping, volunteering, working for people in the community. But I feel like I want to get experience in America working for larger organizations that have more know-how about LGBT issues and how to reach out to communities, so then I can bring that knowledge back to Japan and have a bigger impact on people here.